Hello and welcome to another Aviation Sim UK video. So today what I'm going to be covering is kind of a little tutorial seminar type thing on the type of coordination that you do as tower. And this isn't just 3D training, we have other controllers online. This is also like when you have ground on, below you and things like that. These are the kind of things that you'll need to be saying. So the first thing is, if you have circuits, you'll need to pre-note whoever's on your approach that the circuits are active. The reason for this is because when circuits are active, obviously, they can start. The circuits can start interfering with approaches vectoring patterns, and like runway changes they can affect with as well, and also sometimes when aircraft are on approach, they might start flagging up on the controller's radar, saying that there's a potential conflict. And when you pre-note radar, it basically lets them know to expect this and to know what's happening. And the simple phraseology for this, so it's whoever you're talking to. So obviously the coordination names change from airport to airport. I'm going to use, well, the pre-note will go to your final director. Okay, so that would be Fin Air, and this will pass your message. South circuits are active, or north circuits are active, okay? That's all you've got to say. It's as simple as that. And when the circuits are inactive once the aircraft lands, then you just say Fin Air, pass the message. Circuits inactive. Obviously, whoever you're coordinating with depends on who's online, because obviously that varies a lot. When's the best time to say circuits active? I'd say once you give clearance to the VFR aircraft and he's ready for departure. Then I'd say tell the approach controller that circuits are active. Okay, that just helps avoid any confusion. So, the only reason why I include this is because this has actually happened to me. I've spoken to one of the training group instructors, and he said that you can request two circuit directions. You can have north and south side circuits, okay? The main time this is used is, for example, if you have a very fast aircraft and a slow aircraft in the circuit, because it's obviously going to catch up and cause problems. So it's much easier to split them into two different circuits, because then you can just hold and tell them to report final one after the other, and it makes life that little bit easier. All you have to do is you just have to call up Fin and request clearance for two circuit directions. So if you standard, so for example at Stansted, your standard circuit direction south, all you have to do is talk to Fin, or talk to your final approach director and say, hi, I'm requesting north side circuits because I've got a Eurofighter in the circuit and a Cessna. Okay, as long as you give a reason, it's fine. Most approach controllers will say, yeah, that's fine. You just need to do it just in case, because obviously vectoring patterns and stuff can start reducing separation, which isn't the best. Yeah. So, for your VFR Zone clearance, okay, so one of the most common things I see students do is they'll tell the person who wants to have the zone exit clearance to taxi to the holding point. And I learnt this the other day. Well, not learnt it, I learnt it a while ago, but I saw this, and this is the reason why. London Bandbox was on, there was no Essex, and Luton had a VFR Zone exit. The guy on London Bandbox refused to coordinate, and was wrong, but I'm not going into that. And basically, Luton Air wasn't able to coordinate to get zone release. And the aircraft was sitting at the holding point for like 20 minutes waiting for clearance, which was ridiculous. And it's just a waste of fuel. It means that the pilot will just have to return to stand. And it's just so much easier to just give it a stand, because it's not wasting fuel. You can apologise to them. All you have to do is you have to just talk to whoever you need to. So usually that is your intermediate director. So the coordination name varies. So it could be TC Essex, TC Thames, or INT. Quite frankly, like Liverpool. Okay? And you just have to talk to them and go, yo, I've got whatever the call sign is. So, for example, at Stansted, TC Essex Stansted, pass message, requesting clearance for Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta to leave the Stansted control zone to the north via the orderly and the VRP. And most of the time, they'll literally just sit there and say, Roger, he's cleared to leave the standstill control zone via the orderly and VRP, local squawk, local QNH. That's it. It's as simple as that. They might even tell you to give the clearance and figure it out, because it's so simple to do. Okay, that's VFR zone clearance exit. For zone entry, okay, all TCS6 will do is they'll just call you up, they'll just say, standstill there, TCS6, pass your message. Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta is entering standstill control zone via the orderly end VRP to join the circuit, or to land, or for zone transit. And all you have to do, as a tower controller, is read it back to him word for word. So all you have to do is say, Roger, Golf Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta is entering standstill control zone via the orderly end VLP for circuits, and that's it. All your coordination is, and the amount of times that students sit there and say, Roger, send in to me visual of the field, or they come up with weird things like, Roger, send in to me via Great Dumb Mode, and it's like, no, just repeat it word for word. It's the simplest thing. Okay, and you don't even have to say anything to the pilot until he calls you up. I'll cover what you say to the pilot in a different video. Again, VFR zone entry, zone transit. Like, you could, if TCS6 tells you to deal with it, just out of courtesy, say, right, he's going to come through the orderly end VRP, or the Great Dumb Mode VRP, because it just means he knows what's going on. Obviously, you shouldn't really leave the clearance down to you, but hey-ho. Okay, as a tower controller, you might have to coordinate with ground, and one of my pet hates is when I come on tower, okay, I log on, I'm controlling, and ground comes on, so it says, send me the ATIS. Okay? That's one of my pet hates. It really bugs me. The reason why it bugs me is because as a tower controller, I know what I need to tell you as a ground controller. I know I need to send you the ATIS and the runway in use. Like, all you have to say is, hi, I'm online, and I will respond with, like, nice happy messages. It's when you sit there and say, can I have the ATIS straight away? And I'm like, well, you've just logged on for 5 seconds, give me a second, type thing. All you have to do is ground. They'll literally say, air GMC. All you have to do is say pass message, you'll say online. All you got to do is say Roger, the runway news, ATIS information, and anything that's happening in his area of responsibility. If a guy's right near the holding point, you might sit there and say, right, I'm just going to keep him. But the ground needs to know who's been cleared, who's taxiing, who's pushing back, whether we're in LVPs, any weather phenomenon. Anything like that, ground will need to know. Because if it goes into IMC conditions, we won't have no VFR clearances. Which means that ground will know and they won't bug you, in theory. Obviously, ground controllers don't have as many skills as tower, but hey. One of the other things that approach controllers or area controllers might say is check departures. They might say check all. Or check north, check south, check east, check west. Okay? This always catches people out, okay? So check departures means that you need to get released for that direction of departure. So if your SID is going north and you've been told to check north, you need a release for that departure. And I'll go through the release phraseology in a second. Okay? That's all you need for check departures. And all you say is, Roger, check north. And you'll say, correct, and that's it. Okay, some of the other things that London controllers do put in, and I want to cover this slightly, is he might tell you, and this is usually common in Gatwick or Heathrow when it's busy, he might say, right, I want an MDI, Mike Delta India, of 3 minutes. MDI stands for Minimum Departure Interval. Okay, that means that for every departing aircraft, there needs to be however many minutes specified. So in our example, it was MDI 3 minutes. There needs to be a 3-minute separation between every single departure. No matter whether your crib sheet says RSIVA or anything, you need to check. You need to have 3-minute separation between them all. The other one, which is rarely imposed, is an average departure interval. So if there's an average departure interval 3 minutes, then the average of all the departures needs to be 3 minutes. So if the interval between the first 2 aircraft is 2 minutes, and the interval between the next aircraft has to be 4 minutes. So they all balance out to 3 minutes. Okay. If you're in training group 2 on VATSIM, I would tell you this in a mentoring session if I have you, because I always cover it because I usually flag it up in a session. Okay, releases. Okay, they are one of the easiest things to do. All we have to do is say, like, for example, TCS6 stands there, pass message, request release, Speedbird 123, Nugboy 1 Romeo departure. Okay, the response to that might be Roger released, which means you can take him off straight away. If he says released time 30, then the release, you can take the guy off at 30 minutes past the hour. The amount of times that controllers are like, oh, I thought he was just telling me the time. An approach controller won't bother telling you the time. They don't need to know. You don't need to know. The 30 or whatever number he uses is the time, is the minutes past the hour. Okay, and the release is usually valid for only 3 minutes, but obviously there are exceptions. For example, at Liverpool, the release is worth 5 minutes because you have to get 2 releases from different controllers. Okay, releases are there to protect the aircraft because it means that something potentially there's going to be a conflict on that departure route. So if he says check north, the likelihood is he's vectoring aircraft north of the aerodrome. If there's a go around, you have to get a release because otherwise the aircraft might crash into one another. Things like that. That's why releases are there. A prenote, okay? A prenote is basically you letting a controller know that something's going to go on, that he needs to be aware of this aircraft. So, for example, again, standstill, I'm using that as a lot of examples. That's my training aerodrome. Nugboy 1 Romeo departures, you have to prenote Essex because they interfere with the arriving stream through what's known as the Luton Gate. So we don't prenote Essex. So we prenote TC Northwest, I believe. And the reason for that is he needs to be aware that there's going to be this conflict within the arriving and departing streams. So he can give an increased space. Okay, that's the important thing. That's why we do it. So I said Essex because I've been told off not pre-noting Essex. And I was like, we don't need to do that. So, but yeah, go-arounds. Okay, the amount of times that students struggle with go-arounds is unbelievable. Okay, first things first. I'll cover this in another video as well. You coordinate with the pilot. Okay, the first thing, if you need to send him around something safety related. All you got to say to him is Ryanair 123. Go around, I say again, go around, acknowledge. He will acknowledge saying he's going around. Okay? Then, you tell him what to do. You don't do it in one sentence because that will confuse the poor guy who's going around, he's got an increased workload. You then tell him what to do. Whether that's going to be issuing a tactical heading for safety reasons, or just telling him to fly standard mist. Like, it's simple. And then all you have to do, for example, you have to call up your final director, okay? Obviously, bam box type positions, yeah. But you have to call up your final director if they're on. All you have to say is, like, Finnair, pass message, Ryanair 123 going around, standard mist. Or Ryanair 123 going around, tactical heading 360 up to 3,000 feet. Something like that. That's all you've got to do. So he knows. He might tell you to give a different heading or a different altitude. One of the approach controllers that I control with told me to issue him a full 180-degree turn back to go and intercept the localizer. It's things like that. That's why we coordinate with approach controllers to make life easier. Okay, I've seen some funky coordination before of go around, and it's like, no, that's wrong, type thing. So just let them know. If it's a tactical heading, then the approach controller knows there's a conflict of interest. You've got an aircraft departing, and you've got this guy going around, and they have the potential to cause an issue for one another. That's why we say tactical heading, because it means it's safety related. Okay? That's why we use specific words, is because they mean specific things. Runway changes. I got asked this by a student. How do I coordinate for a runway change? It depends who's on above you, basically. I believe you'd call up Finn or in. I think it's Finn. The final director, and all you say is Finn Air, pass message. Requesting runway change to 04 due to wind change. Okay, he will say Roger, runway change after. He might say after this arrival, or you might say after this departure. You just need to come up with a standing agreement of when you're going to flip the runway, of when you're going to change it to 04. Or 22 or whatever runway you're using. You just have to come up with a standing agreement with them. So that means you need to come up as a tower controller with a standing agreement with ground and a standing agreement with your approach controllers about when you're going to have a runway change. Because they all need to know, because otherwise you're going to have aircraft at the wrong runway. You're going to have approach, you're going to not send the aircraft around because they're on the wrong arrival. It's going to cause issues. That's why we coordinate. I told my student this and they didn't actually know about it. They were quite like, oh, IAS, or increased arrival separation, not indicated airspeed. Okay, you can, if you're a tower controller and you've got a lot of departures, you can call up your final director and say, yo, I want an increased arrival separation because I want to get lots of departures out. Okay, all you have to do is just tell him that. Just thin air, pass message, requesting increased arrival separation, minimum 8 nautical miles or whatever. You just have to tell him that, because then he will increase the separation. They'll use the hold more, so you can get more aircraft out. You can do whatever as a tower controller, as long as you coordinate. You can tell a guy to vector him around somewhere because you want him to go around. You can tell approach controllers that because you're tower as well. It's just coordination. It's just as long as you come up with agreements. Oh, was that my last slide? Oh, it's going very quick. So, coordination is important as tower, okay? Because you need to ensure the safety of your aircraft. You'll be told a lot of different things by people, okay? The main reason why I'm bringing out this video is because I witnessed a London band box controller the other night who didn't coordinate at all, came up with some stupid excuses, and it really did bug me. And I wanted to release a video because, as a tower controller, as a mentor, I don't care if as a tower student you question me. I want you to, because I want you to fully understand things. Because you will come across different situations. And you just need to know the basics, then you can apply whatever you know to it. And that's why, I do these tutorials, is to help teach you as controllers to become better. Yeah. So, that's probably the end of this video about tower coordination. Okay. Hopefully you've taken all of these things on board and can apply it to different situations. The next video will be a VFR phraseology sheet. In the coming weeks there will also be a kind of tower recording as such, where I'm going to show you what we do and why we do them. Why we do the things that we do. I have to choose a busy aerodrome, hopefully, for it to work. But I want to show you guys why we do it, because my main idea as a mentor isn't just to tell you what to do, it's to explain it. Because I'm not here to be here all the time as a mentor. It's your job to go and be free. It's like parents at a gate and you see a kid walking to school and you're like, bye, be free, cut all ties to them and run away. Because I've got a lot of other students that need help as well. So that's the reason why these tutorials exist, and they're here for your benefit. Okay? So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're enjoying all of the videos so far, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you tick that bell icon as well after you subscribe, because it means that you get notifications about when I release videos. So if you really love my voice that much, you can come listen to more. If you find these interesting as well, feel free to comment in the comment section below. It really does make my day when I see people like, this is actually really useful. Or if they question things as well. I don't mind explaining everything. Okay? And hopefully I'll see you for the next video. There will also be some flying videos soon. Once I fix my computer, it kind of broke on the last legs. And remember, aviate, navigate, and communicate. Take care, and see you for the next video. Bye.